Hi there, Team WeRun. It's Coach Alexia here, coach for Reading, South Oxfordshire and online. I had a question in for Paul, kind of linking in with my series on feet. So he's been talking about a fairly new pair of trainers that he bought that since he started running with them has started to develop a little bit of a hot spot under the ball of his left foot, and was wondering, what might be at play there and what he might be able to do about it. So a couple of thoughts there. Often we have one foot that is slightly bigger or smaller than the other. So my hypothesis here is that perhaps the left foot is a little smaller in Paul's case, therefore it's moving a little bit more around in the shoe and is perhaps moving a little bit front to back as you land and push off. So the shoe is perhaps not snug enough around that left foot. So it's moving and it's causing that hot spot. It's basically friction causes hot spots. So we've got a little bit more friction in between the ball of the foot and where we'd want the shoe to be. So there's a few things that I guess the root cause is probably that the shoes aren't quite the right fit. So as you're building up your running longer, Paul, I think you mentioned you were kind of doing sort of 2 to 4 miles at the moment. It potentially will become more of a problem. So to completely get rid of the issue, I guess, might be to go shoe shopping again. I don't know how long you've had the shoes or how much running you've done in them. Some online and in-person running shops have the opportunity to return within 30 days if you're not getting on with them. So if you're still within that window, or if you're beyond that window and are willing to spend the money on it, I'd maybe suggest relegating those shoes to something else and maybe investing in a new pair. And getting them fitted in person and having a bit of a test run in them would be good. Some other alternatives to maybe try before you do that, or if you don't want to invest in a new pair of running shoes just yet, you can adjust the lacing on your shoes. Maybe make sure that the lacing is a little bit tighter further down the front, so the laces that are nearer the toe end are done up a little bit tighter, just to try and hold the foot into place a little bit more snugly. Sock choice, like you mentioned in your message, can help. So maybe getting socks that are slightly kind of bigger, almost kind of standard running socks, but that are maybe slightly thicker, again to provide a little bit more snugness around the foot. You can also get running socks that have got a built-in 2-layered system, so you get the fabric in between the 2 layers of socks doing the rubbing and not between the sock and your foot, which causes the hot spot. And potentially trying a bit of lubrication, so something like Body Glide under the sole of your foot, again, will help with any rubbing over those shorter distances. You mentioned insoles as a potential fix. Yes and no. So insoles will obviously take away a little bit of space from the top to the bottom of the shoe, but they're not necessarily going to help the foot from sliding forward and backwards as you run. That's to do with the length of the shoe. Length and width and fit of the shoe, which the insoles aren't really going to do that much about. They're just going to give less space from top to bottom. So I'm a bit in two minds about whether that would actually fix the problem. Also, there are insoles and insoles. So off the shelf ones can often kind of clash with the design of the shoe of the sole of the running shoe. So depending on which insoles you added to which shoes, they can either complement each other or conflict a little bit design wise. If you're going down the insoled route, and I would recommend that you have somebody, I don't know, like a podiatrist or a physio who's qualified to kind of just assess what you need and why you need it and that sort of thing, because the stuff, again, you can just get off the internet. They're all a bit random, and if you're not getting them on a specific recommendation with something specific in mind, they either don't have any impact or they could introduce changes into the way your feet are landing that you don't necessarily want. So a few different thoughts there. I hope that's useful, and keep us posted if you've got any follow-up questions to that. Happy running.